What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I am Claudian Lemons. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please make sure that you go down there and hit subscribe and also hit the notification bell so that I can get more updates from my videos every time I post. Today, I'm coming to y'all somberly, very sad indeed. As y'all probably already heard, rapper by the name of Young Dolph was killed in his hometown of Memphis today. Young dude was 36 years old. Very promising rapper, very promising career, and it all led to tragedy as he was just going to buy some cookies. Seems like what happened was there was an ambush on this young artist, and it ended tragically with him not only trying to defend himself, but succumbing to injuries after being shot multiple times, from what some sources say. Now, there's been a lot of news about the killer actually giving himself up, stuff like that, saying that killer got arrested. From what I understand, that's false news, and stuff like that hasn't happened yet. Now, I'll give y'all, some reasons on why I chose to talk about this on this particular channel. I chose to talk about the death of Young Dolph. Number one, not only was he a rapper that I like, really enjoyed his music, but he was encouraging. I say that. But before I get into that, let's look at the news clip and what the news says about it, because they are still updating the case and still trying to find out what went wrong in the case of Young Dolph.
So this afternoon, I'm going to take my mask off here. This afternoon, the Memphis Police Department responded to a person shot at 2370 Airways Boulevard. Our preliminary investigation reveals the victim is Adolph Robert Thornton Jr. This shooting is another example of the senseless gun violence that we have seen far too often locally and nationwide. Our hearts go out to the Thornton family and all who are affected by this horrific act of violence. Tonight, we strongly encourage everyone to stay home if you do not have to be out. We also strongly encourage everyone to remain calm as we actively perform our investigation. We are committed to working with the community to stop these senseless murders. We're also dedicated to bringing those responsible for today's shooting and others to justice. We encourage anyone who has any information about this incident to call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-2274.
Chief, should there be a curfew put in place? We had at least one city council member and one state representative call for a curfew, fearing that there could be retaliation. Do you think that's a good idea?
Well, we're taking all of these requests into consideration, and we're continuing to communicate with our city officials and evaluate the situation so that we can make the best decision. And it doesn't mean that we won't have a curfew at some point in time, but right now we think that the deployment of our officers in the specific areas that are impacted the most will be enough presence for tonight. And as I said before, we are encouraging everyone to stay in if they don't have to be out.
I'm circulating on social media about this shooting here, this rapper's house, this restaurant, and we understand, was any of that accurate or true?
Well, I haven't vetted all the social media. There have been erroneous posts on social media, and what we're trying to do is monitor the facts and ensure that we provide the facts to the public as well. So what we see on social media may not be accurate.
Have we been given a suspect information? I know it happened in the middle of the day.
We are still speaking with witnesses. We do have witnesses that are communicating with the police department right now.
Is there any video footage?
We don't know for sure just yet. We are checking every camera, every piece of footage that could be in the surrounding area to help us further this investigation.
Tell us behind the motivation of the shooting.
Just don't know. This was a shooting that occurred at a cookie shop, and we're just not sure what that motivation was, and it's a little bit too early for us to tell.
Now, as y'all seen right there in the news, what it said, they are further investigating this particular situation to see what could have possibly been the motive behind Dolph being murdered. What could have possibly went right? What could have possibly went wrong? They're going through witnesses and combing through witnesses. Also, they are going through, different sources to see what could have possibly happened there. And like I said, it's a sad situation. Now, I do want to say this. Apparently, Dolph's murder has got the whole city on high alert. Now, there have also been reports and been sayings that rival rappers, rival gangs had also had different things go on in the city. Like they said, black youngsters' grandmother got shot up. A restaurant of Yo Gotti's got shot up, and those are two rival rappers of Young Dolph. So it seems like this was a retaliatory type of killing, but we just don't know yet. Not going to jump to any type of conclusions just yet. But like I said, this is really senseless. They literally having to put people on curfew, and the police are combing the streets, making sure that, they can find his killer right away. This is how important this man was in Memphis, just for his music, but not only his music, but also because of his attribute to music. Dolph was an artist that was in control of all of his music. He was in control of all of his masters. He didn't have a label. He owned his own label. His own label was independent. He only had distribution for his label through another company, but he owned everything outright. And that alone was something that I think that black men and women could really look up to. I believe that's something alone that black men and women could aspire to be. Now, his music didn't portray the most positive messages, but he did have some instances of positive in his music. Some instances of, rising from the bottom, making it to the top in his music that can encourage the next person listening, the next person that, want to be in his type of position. And I believe that a lot of black men and women could really learn from what he did, how he grew himself, and how he stood up on being the owner of everything that was his. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of like Nipsey Hussle in a sense, where, he wanted to be the main owner of everything. He didn't want any corporation or anybody to come in and take what he had. He wanted to be able to make sure that his family, his black family, was taken care of. Now, the one thing that hit me about this was just a few years ago, he helped his parents get off of drugs. His mother was on drugs. His father was on drugs. And with his success, he was able to put them into rehab and rehab them from their drug addiction. He was also in the public eye very well with his kids. His kids seemed to love him a lot. He would always have them on the albums or something like that. He really seemed to love the people that he was around, and he would always showcase them on the album. He even signed his own cousin so that he can turn his own cousin into a millionaire. And I find all of those admirable because he looked out for his people, his neighbors, the people that looked like him, the people that was going through the same stuff that he was going through. He tried to bring them up and out of the struggle. So for something like this to happen to someone who was actually looking out for his people, looking out for his community. That's very, very sad to hear. Very, very sad to even comprehend, especially for the hip hop community, especially for people who loved his music. I was looking online earlier and I saw an 11-year-old that boiled in tears because his favorite rapper just got killed in the city that he's from. You know, I was looking at all of the messages that he left behind through interviews and through social media posts and things of that nature, giving people a little bit of game and encouraging them to know that they can do the same thing as him. So this was very heartbreaking for me personally, and I know it was heartbreaking for many. But the one thing that I want everybody to be able to take away from Dolph's story is his resilience to keep pushing and to own everything that he touched. His ability to be able to reach out to his people and pull his people out of the mud, per se. You know what I'm saying? And his ability to be able to run business as a businessman and show others how to do it. You know, this thing about black on black crime that people be talking about, it could be real for some of us if we look at it in that way. But I don't think this was a result of black on black crime. I think this was more a result of jealousy, envy, hatred, and strife. Because those are the things that seem to fester in us to make us not see each other as brothers and sisters. When you jealous of the next man's accomplishments, when you envy what the next man got, that turns into hatred. And then you start to strife to kill this person because you just want their position. That happens every day in the neighborhoods that we live in. And if we can just change the mindset of these younger kids, if we can just change our mindset, and I think there are a lot of stuff that is going on in these neighborhoods, in these places like Chicago, like Memphis, like Atlanta, like Houston. If we just change the mindset, then we'll be better off. But anyway, rest in peace to Young Dolph. Now forget rest in peace. I'm tired of saying rest in peace. Long live Young Dolph. And I hope that, you know what I'm saying, his music can inspire other people to do exactly the same as he did and to curve the type of life that he lived so that it won't end tragically like this. Long live Young Dolph. I wanted to say condolences to the family. And till next time, y'all, I'm out.